Es ist Damenfinaltag. Es gibt hier gleich in wenigen Minuten eine Präsentation. Mit dabei ehemalige Gewinnerinnen dieses Turniers. Leider nicht gefüllt von Luftballons, die sie nachher freilassen werden. Und das sind die beiden Präsentatoren, die uns hier hineinleiten werden in das Finale der Damen in diesem Jahr. Gerard Holz, der Kollege vom französischen Fernsehen, und die 100 Jahre Damentennis, 100 Jahre Spannung. Virginie Razzano aus Languedoc vom dortigen Tennisliga. Und sie auch wird eben. Und so, sie sollte auch ein bisschen ehren auf ihre Art und Weise. Vielen Dank, Gerard, sagt sie. Ich bin natürlich sehr gerührt, dass ich hier am Finaltag dabei sein darf. Und hoffe natürlich auch etwas, dass ich in Zukunft hier selber mal auf dem Platz stehen. Nelly Landry Renault, die Französin, die 1948 hier gewann gegen Shirley Fry aus den USA. Leslie Turner damals ihre Gegnerin. 4:6, 6:3, 6:4 das Ergebnis für Françoise Dürr. Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley, die Australierin, 1971 erfolgreich über Helen Gourley, 6:3, 7:5 für Yvonne Goolagong. M.hingis, die Jugoslawin, sie bezwang Florenta Mihai aus Rumänien 1977. Und ein Jahr später dann unterlag M.hingis Virginia Rosici, unserer Eurosport-Kollegin, die seit einiger Zeit mitkommentiert bei unseren französischen Kollegen. Sie allerdings damals natürlich für Roma 1994. Sie bezwang Steffi Graf und Marie Pierce und noch anschließend dreimal im Finale. Für die Kollegen des amerikanischen Fernsehens wird sie dieses Finale kommentieren. Vielleicht haben Sie das Fest ein schönes wird. M.hingis. Auch die beiden natürlich schon mit einem dicken Blumenstrauß in den Händen, sowie alle Finalistinnen, die hier heute mit dabei waren, mit Blumen geehrt wurden. Wie sehr hat sich das Tennis verändert, auch durch Martina natürlich. In diesen letzten 100 Jahren, Gerard Holz hat es gerade gesagt, damals die langen Röcke bis zu den Knöcheln, ein kleiner Holzschläger, Petticoats und ein bisschen Unterhaltung auf dem Tennisplatz. Ein klein wenig Laufen war erlaubt, mehr nicht. Und heute dieses druckvolle Damentennis, das gerade diese beiden hier wirklich toll vertreten. Die neue Nummer 1 dieses Jahres, Martina Hingis, noch ungeschlagen in dieser Saison. 37 Siege hat sie schon auf ihrem Konto seit Beginn des Jahres. Und wenn man den Woodman Cup mit dazu rechnet, in Perth, das große Mixturnier, dann hat sie sogar 40 auf ihrem Konto. Also auf den Spuren einer Steffi Graf, deren Rekord liegt ja bei 45 Siegen hintereinander weg in einem Jahr. Und natürlich auch Martina oder Chris Evert. Also die jüngere Martina, die ja benannt wurde nach Martina Navratilova, auf den Spuren der ganz Großen. Und zum ersten Mal seit 1987 sind weder Steffi Graf noch Arantxa Sanchez Vicario noch eine Monica Seles hier im Finale. Diese drei hatten die Turniere seit 87 immer unter sich ausgemacht, die Siege hier bei den French Open. Steffi Graf damals erfolgreich über Martina Navratilova mit 8:6 im dritten 1987. Im Jahr drauf über Natascha Zvereva, das war auch ein Teenager-Duell.
Das was nützt. Immerhin lächeln die beiden doch da noch ganz nett in die Kamera. I.majoli, die hier überhaupt nichts zu verlieren hat. Vielleicht muss sie
ihre Nerven in den Griff kriegen. Sie neigt dazu, gelegentlich auch mal völlig von der Rolle zu sein, unkonzentriert zu sein. Aber wie gesagt, vielleicht ist das heute ganz anders, denn da weiß sie, dass die kleine Martina, die sie schon einmal geschlagen hat, die ganz große Favoritin ist. Dieses eine Mal war 1996 in Tokio in der Halle. Da siegte I.majoli 3-6, 6-3, 6-0. Die beiden anderen Partien, die holte sich M.hingis. Hier nochmal eine Zeitlupenwiederholung dieses ersten Fotos da eben. Also beim Masters 96 siegte Martina in der Halle mit 6-2, 4-6, 6-1. Und hier im Februar in Paris, Bercy, auch im Halbfinale 6-1 und 6-3. Die Damen dürfen sich jetzt hier noch reglementgemäß 5 Minuten einschlagen. Hier nochmal das, was man mittlerweile alles über M.hingis weiß. Auch ihre Knieverletzung, die sie sich nach einem Sturz vom Pferd zugezogen hat, machte sich überhaupt nicht mehr bemerkbar. Und vielleicht doch nochmal für 1 oder 2 Fragen hoch zu Klaus Hofses. Da hat der Ivan Lendl uns mal gesagt, dass Martinas Mutter Melanie, Molitor heißt sie ja jetzt wieder mit Mädchennamen, dass sie die beste Trainerin sei, die man sich vorstellen könnte. Er hat sicher Klaus Hofses vergessen, aber was sagen Sie zu den Trainerqualitäten von Martinas Mutter?
Ja, Klaus hat es mitbekommen.
Ja, ich habe vorhin schon gesagt.
Da sehen Sie nochmal die ganz große Favoritin, die auch kämpfen musste, schon in der zweiten Runde. Hier gegen Gloria Pizzichini aus Italien, 1,5 Stunden in 3 Sätzen. Und sie hatte dann im Viertel- und im Halbfinale die nominell stärksten Spielerinnen zu spielen. Aber hier zunächst noch einmal M.hingis erste 3 Partien gegen Barbara Paulus. Ein ganz kurioses Resultat, 6-3. Und den zweiten Satz hat sie 0-6 verloren. Sehr früh den dann praktisch auch laufen lassen, um dann im dritten wieder richtig zuzuschlagen. Also Arantxa Sanchez und Monica Seles. Das war für viele nach dem Ausscheiden von Steffi Graf das vorweggenommene Endspiel. Aber da sollte man nicht zu früh I.majoli Unrecht tun, die hier gekämpft hat und die letzten 4 Spiele alle über 3 Sätze gehen musste. Hier ging es schon los gegen Anne Grossman. Danach dann gegen die Olympiasiegerin Lindsay Davenport. Gegen ihre Doppelkollegin Ruxandra Dragomir mit dem schönsten Bild des Turniers. Sie haben es eben noch mal gesehen, als die beiden Konkurrentinnen sich völlig erschöpft hinlegten. Und dann auch gegen Amanda Kutzer, die Südafrikanerin, die gegen Steffi Graf gewann. Die letzte Minute der Einschlagzeit. Hier nochmal ein Blick auf die bisherigen Partien.
À gauche de la chaise, Martina Hingis, Suisse.
Gute Bedingungen. Im Moment ein paar Wolken vor der Sonne. Angenehm warm. Ich schätze mal so 4, 25 Grad. Und Aufwärmzeit zu Ende. I.majoli, der draußen fortsetzen darf. Welche Schwächen hat M.hingis? Vielleicht ist es noch der zweite Aufschlag, den manche Spielerin auch hier zu attackieren versuchte. I.majoli ist eine der härtesten schlagenden Spielerinnen in der Damentennistour. Vielleicht hat sie hier eine kleine Chance, wenn der erste von Martina nicht kommt. Vor dem Finale der Australian Open, da hat man sich gefragt, was mag jetzt in der jungen Schweizerin vorgehen? Ist sie nervös? Sie war es nur ganz kurz. Und heute ist ein Grand Slam-Finale schon Routine. Also tatsächlich Aufschlag Martina Hingis.
0,15.
Schulmäßig dieser Überkopfball.
Hingis might have thought that one of the balls was deep at the other end, and so what does she do but say, well, I'll show you, and throw in that incredible drop shot so early in the match.
30-40. Avantage, Mademoiselle Hingis.
Yeah, she's going to have to go for her shots. Rather like Celis did, and so nearly pulled it off.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Hingis. Premier jeu.
Hingis with the facility to take the ball on the rise and direct the ball wherever she wants to. She can change its direction, a very difficult thing to do when you're hitting that hard, but she has it all.
She really does. It's absolutely remarkable to stand down at court level and watch her play, because especially like that last backhand we saw her hit, the ball she'll be very close to it where it bounces, and she just scoops it up with soft hands and then actually uses the pace and returns it with interest. So it gives her opponent very little time to get prepared.
Well, now they've met 3 times before. Hingis leads 2-1. I.majoli won the first meeting in '96 in Tokyo. All indoors their meetings have been in 3 sets. The Chase Championships at the end of last year, Hingis had her revenge, 6-1 in the third. And then in Paris, it was in straight sets, 6-1, 6-3 at the start of this year. So they're playing for the first time on clay. Will that make a difference?
They both are good players on all surfaces. Just to my mind, it's Hingis who has more options at her fingertips.
I.majoli's first service game. Christian Bean there with Samaranch on the left of your picture, Juan Antonio, President of the International Olympic Committee. Unlucky, that was rather a saucy attempt at a very acute angle.
Well, even I.majoli can make some very acute angles, but she tends to get a little tight in the big matches and not quite as apt to make them.
15-30.
If you talk to everyone in the press room today, you got the impression that most people expected this to be a rather straightforward, quick win for Hingis. I wasn't quite so sure.
Right on the line it was.
Not because I think that Majoli is as good as Hingis, she isn't, but I thought that this momentous occasion might just take a little bit of the edge off Hingis's game.
Just think it's so important for Majoli to start off well.
Just a little foot fault there. I don't suppose that'll put her off.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Majoli. Un jeu partout.
So Hingis not unnaturally taking just a little bit of time to settle and get her range. What a pity. Made the opening.
15.
It's a clever shot, isn't it?
35.
She looked as if she was going to swing this into the forehand court and then just holds it a fraction of a second and goes behind her opponent.
30.
I think she'll eradicate these few mistakes from her game quite soon. There's
40.
Martina's mum. Lovely, lovely two-hander.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Hingis. Mademoiselle Hingis mène 2 jeux à 1.
Well, Virginia, we had a glimpse then of Melanie Molitor, as she now is, it's her maiden name, of course, who has coached Martina from the beginning and christened her Martina with the very intention of making her into a world-class player and hopefully a champion. And she's done it. It is remarkable, the story.
It is absolutely incredible that the mother was a tennis player and Martina was the Czechoslovakian and the world champion, and so Martina
Navratilova was.
Navratilova, yes, and so she calls her child Martina, and sure enough, she, ever since the age of 3, she has been not only playing tennis but winning. She has literally won ever since she stepped on a tennis court. She won all through the very early ages. She won the juniors. We first saw her here in Paris playing the junior championship event when she was 12, and already the rumor and the word had gone out about how good she was, and she has never failed to produce. And you just watch her play, and it's incredible because it's just like a simple little game of chess out there. You see there's an opening there, and then she holds the ball just a little bit and puts it in the other corner. She makes her opponents work very hard.
0-15.
Yes, good serve there.
15.
Martina here playing a Federation Cup for Switzerland against her old country, Slovakia. Went to Kosike, which is where they came from, Kozice, and met her father again. Worried about the foot fault, but I think she does touch the line there. There it is, just touching the line. And it was a very emotional reunion, but they only talk now on the telephone. It's rather a sad story as well. Double fault, partly induced, I suppose, by the call of foot fault.
Well, it doesn't really matter that Hingis missed that backhand volley, because she was trying to do something very exotic with the ball. It was such a well-played point. Certainly making Hingis stretch somewhat, and at this stage Hingis doesn't look quite as fleet of foot as she sometimes does. She may just be a tiny bit stiff from all the tennis she's played in the last 2 days, and it will take a little while to work out.
Je. Mademoiselle Majoli.
What a good serve. And one really must admire M.hingis, because she had a very heavy cold the other day and had not slept more than a couple of hours the night before she played her semi-final. And yet she battled through a very long match and won. I'm quite sure you're right about that very long ladies' double semi-final yesterday having its effect. Well, she's outplaying Hingis at the moment, keeping a better length, getting the short balls that allow her to go for those lovely angled winners. Reading the direction of the serve perfectly.
0-40.
Because Martina Hingis hits that wide serve well, but she sure read it well.
I'll teach you to hit a winner off my serve. Taken very early, that last one. Look where she was standing, inside the baseline to conduct that rally.
Well, it is amazing, isn't it, how when she gets herself into a deficit situation, she manages to push down a little harder, Hingis, and produce some better shots. But still, she's one break point down.
Wonderful, wonderful defence by Hingis, floating deep balls
40.
from very fierce drives that were almost hitting the far baseline. Well, even the luck going with M.majoli.
Avantage, Mademoiselle M.majoli. Égalité. Avantage, Mademoiselle M.majoli.
Well, maybe this was slightly desperate, this drop shot. She can hit that drop shot, but it looked as if she needed one more step to get over to the forehand. So it's the 5th break point for M.majoli in this game.
Égalité.
Well, a great battle of wills going on right here in this game. Hingis refusing. How dare you call that out? My best forehand. No, it was out. No question. Yes, Francois Parot correctly underlining the fact that the ball got missed.
Avantage, Mademoiselle M.majoli.
So a 6th chance. Gosh, the quality of play.
Égalité.
Well, it is awfully hard to finish off a game against Hingis, because when she gets down, she just gets more fired up.
Exactly the point that Sellis made after their match.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Hingis.
After 4 deuces, then the first time she's had a chance to hold.
Égalité.
A few more errors off the backhand side from Hingis today, but I'm sure she'll sort that out.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Hingis.
Can't do much about it. There's the M.majoli support group. Her brother is here, and her father, and mother too, I think.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Hingis. Mademoiselle Hingis mène 3 jeux à 2.
Well, what a bitter game that was, but how important for Hingis that she won it. And I'm wondering, Virginia, whether, without even realizing it, perhaps in her mind, the final was played the other day.
I'm sure that's absolutely right, because without any question whatsoever, Hingis and Salas was a match that everybody was anticipating with great expectation. And although she had beaten Salas 3 times out of 3 times, and 2 of them had been very easy, the time she had played Salas before, she had only just beaten her 7-6 in the 3rd set. And it came up totally to expectation, that match. So there's every reason that she could be just a little bit flat today. Of course, there's great motivation because it's the final, but she's playing somebody that she should beat, who's ranked lower. She's confident. There's not quite so much to stimulate her except the title, and that can put a little bit of pressure on her. So she has started off just minimally slowly, but how depressing for I.majoli that she has had so many chances to win that game, and then she was just beaten by better shots.
And quite often you find in matches of this sort, a very, very long game, like that last was, is pivotal. And the person who wins it goes roaring ahead. We'll see.
Mary Pierce. Not often do you see her with glasses on, so she looks a little bit different there.
Yes, well played.
Has a forehand that's very good, both cross-court and down the line and inside out. She steps into it so well.
Hingis standing inside the baseline. She's just a fraction slow today, and the long matches in singles and doubles taking their toll.
And possibly a little bit of nerves as well. That can make you tighten up.
Well played, I.majoli.
Jeu. Mademoiselle I.majoli. 3 jeux partout.
Well, I'm so impressed that I.majoli is making herself come into the net, because it's one of the areas that she's sometimes reluctant to venture to. It's a good playing.
She has the most lovely overhead, this Hingis. Look at the preparation here. Hand going up to make sure that the racket arm shoulder drops down so that she can throw the ball, throw the racket head at the ball.
Well, she's been getting a high percentage of first serves in, but that was a short second serve, and I.majoli is awfully good at attacking it. Most of the time. That one, I don't know what she tried to do with that. It's not often that she mishits.
Well, that's great play. And it's the depth of the balls that I.majoli is hitting here, forcing Hingis into hitting short, creating the openings. So yet again, a break point against the Hingis serve. 6 saved in game 5. I.majoli going for broke on everything, which is exactly what she said she was going to do. I have nothing to lose, she said, in this final. I'm going to give it all I've got.
Quite right. She can always seemingly come up with just that little bit more when she needs it.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Hingis.
Goodness, that was close. And if you're wondering why people compared I.majoli to Celis, part of the reason is because she spent a lot of her young life at the Bollettieri Academy in Florida, where Celis learned her tennis, or not learned her early tennis, but did her training when she was a young player.
Égalité.
Bollettieri, in fact, was here, may still be here. I haven't seen him today, but he was here supporting I.majoli in her semi-final.
Yeah, he is here today. I've seen him.
Avantage, Mademoiselle I.majoli.
Well played.
Jeu. Mademoiselle I.majoli.
First blood.
Calder, superamateur, changement de balle. Mademoiselle I.majoli mène 4 jeux à 3.
First blood to I.majoli. And thoroughly well earned by these fierce drives, forcing short balls from the racket of Hingis. Not an easy thing to do.
Not at all. And John, you were saying that most of the journalists was thinking it would be a walkover. Everybody who said to me that what did I think would be the result, they all thought that she couldn't win more than 5 games. Well, I definitely thought I.majoli could put up a good fight against Hingis. The one question, I suppose, is if she really does get within any sort of sight of possibly winning it, whether she could still manage to play the same sort of high-quality tennis. You also just said that she had said she had nothing to lose, she would just come in and go for it. And you can do that until you get within maybe sight of victory, and then you don't know what to do if you're not expecting to win.
Very funny. Somebody asked her if she was going to be tired on final stage. She said, tired in a Grand Slam final? Thought the question was ridiculous.
That was I.majoli who was asked. That is an odd question. But it definitely looks as if Hingis is a tiny bit tired, and that could well be just because all the pressure is on her. And she wants to win, I'm quite sure.
So here she is with a break, 4-3.
It's a good shot.
That might almost have been Monica Seles.
15-0.
Yes, just firing it down the line.
S'il vous plaît, les jeux sont prêts, merci.
Yvonne.
The lovely Yvonne there, and right at the bottom of your picture. Loving this visit to Paris.
Premier service.
The lovely dinner for all the champions last night on a boat just opposite the Eiffel Tower. Quite a romantic occasion. Well, this is champagne stuff from the Croatian. It really is. Couldn't fault it. She was off the mark quickly here, catching the ball before it bounced too low. The fascinating thing now will be to see just how Hingis here reacts to the danger, because always in the past she's found a solution. And that serve hit the line. And as you will remember, Virginia, when they do that, they shoot.
It was a second serve too. Awfully good second serve.
Jeu. Mademoiselle M.hingis.
Oh, wonderful stuff.
5 jeux à 3.
That's the first ace. But many winning serves we've seen already. And the world number one in trouble. So 2 double faults now. The pressure is mounting. Valiant attempt. It's all she could do. Pushed so wide and deep. Well, this was what Seles was trying to do the other day, but was breaking down just too often.
15-30.
M.hingis definitely playing better today than she was in her semi-final match against Amanda Kutzer, which was actually a very difficult match for her. Yes,
M.hingis just moving forward there to be sure that the serve had landed on the line and acknowledging that it had by clearing the mark it had left with her foot. 30-all.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Hingis. Mademoiselle M.hingis mène 5 jeux à 4.
So 5-4 in the opening set. And we've said before, Virginia, that Hingis has this tendency in tournaments sometimes to play one loose match, but it's not usually the final.
No, that's a point. She has been somewhat playing one great match and one indifferent match. She had herself in all sorts of problems early on in the tournament against Gloria Pizzicchini, who's a player that very few people would even, whose name they would recognize. And she was 4-3 down in a set and 4-3 and a point for 5-3 in the second set. So she really dug a fairly big hole for herself. And this match, I'm sure that what goes on in her mind is everybody's expecting me to win. I haven't lost a match this year, but still there's that element of anything can happen in any given match. I mean, otherwise, obviously, we wouldn't be watching it. But just thinking and watching Majoli playing right there, it just seemed to me that those last 2 points, she lost a tiny bit of concentration. 30 all, she went for too much of a forehand, lost it, and the next point she tried a slightly crazy drop shot.
So here is the ultimate test, really. Can Majoli, does she have the belief? Can she close out this opening set? She's serving point now. It's 5-4.
Oh, what a good serve.
4-0.
A second ace. Slight surprise there. Yes, furious with herself. That was a very tentative shot, not the sort of shot one expects to see from Hingis, or she expects of herself.
Les joueurs sont prêts, merci.
Well, that's brilliant.
Such a difficult shot. I mean, she could have nailed it, and said she chooses to just gently angle it away. And if she had missed it, she would have been facing 3 set points.
And there was the little bit of indecision that you'd remarked upon in the racket of Majoli just when it mattered. 30 love to 30 all. Oh, what a late call from the lady on the sideline. Well, that was quite the most wonderful rally we've seen today, with both of them testing the other to the full. At full stretch, the defense of Hingis was quite remarkable. But in the end, it was the steelier nerve of this woman, Majoli, that won the day and brought her to set point. That's it, first set.
Et première manche. Mademoiselle Majoli, 6 jeux à 4.
6 jeux à 4, 6 games to 4. 40 minutes they've been playing, and it's been absolutely gripping stuff.
Un peu de silence, s'il vous plaît. Merci. 0-15.
Well, this is going to be a huge test of Hingis's ambition and resolve and character and all the things that go to make a champion.
I was wondering when they were going to show a picture of Melanie, because she really is so focused on the match. Pays very good attention. I mean, better. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but she really does concentrate well.
Well, when it comes off, you say, what a genius. If she'd missed it, you would have said, what a fool to try it.
35.
High-risk shot. No percentage to this one at all. She's behind the baseline, not where the place where you normally hit drop shots from. Perfect execution, though. Oh, she's anticipating well. I wonder if she's been watching the tapes of Hingis lately. And her mum there, absolutely thrilled.
Miley hitting the ball so well today.
Do I detect a hint of desperation creeping into Hingis's game?
She's never been reluctant to show her annoyance on the court. Oh.
It was a bit of a gift. It was very short, that serve. That's Mansour Barami, an Iranian player who is just a genius with trick shots.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Mayoli.
That was the first time that I think I've ever really been able to fault Hingis on her footwork. She just didn't seem to get into position for that ball.
Égalité.
Yes, but winning 2 in a row against Hingis, well, there's the problem.
It's a mental problem more than anything.
Yes, good, I think.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Mayoli.
Mayoli definitely on a streak at the moment. She's going for her shots and making them. I mean, she's just very aggressive and successful.
Égalité.
And Mick Boltieri there he is. You said you'd seen him. And getting very excited, and why not? Mayoli's just playing wonderful tennis.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Hingis.
As we said the other day when Seles was playing Hingis, to maintain the sort of ferocity that Mayoli is playing with today without error, going to be very, very difficult over the long run.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Hingis.
That could have been
Premier jeu, seconde manche.
a very important game. Set and a breakdown, well, things would have looked very black, but here she is, still fighting, as we knew she would.
Well, I.majoli certainly missed a couple of opportunities there to break in that opening game, and to get a set and then really not let up against somebody that you feel is better than you is just so difficult to do. And you have to match your opponent in every respect. At the moment, I.majoli is actually coming up a little bit better with the pace of the ball that she's hitting compared with Hingis. Hingis, we know, has got a whole lot of options which she hasn't really been able to use today. But mentally she's very tough, so I.majoli has got to make sure that she matches her in the mental department as well. And that might have just been a tiny chance that I.majoli let slip then.
Yes, a little bit of petulance that she's quite ready to show. Never conceals it, as you said. And I think that's one of her endearing qualities. Whenever you speak to her, it's everything just as it is. There's no deception. She just...
Very warm out there.
S'il vous plaît.
Well played.
15-0.
So two very good serves to open this game. Generally speaking, I.majoli's length has been much better than Hingis's. It's Hingis who's been running uphill through sand, as it were, chasing everything.
That's right.
And she's going to have to improve on that department somehow. Yes, great play. Once again, Hingis dropping the ball short, allowing the angle from I.majoli.
45.
And without question, it's been I.majoli who's been able to hit better angles and better length than Hingis. Hingis just hasn't been doing that, achieving that today.
Yes, well played.
Jeu. Mademoiselle I.majoli. Un jeu partout.
And still, Hingis has not solved the problem of how to deal with this Croatian's wonderful control of length and power. And the wonderful thing about that is that she's not breaking down, or only occasionally. Ah, the world champion dictating one of the rallies at last.
15-0.
It's really the whole key to be able to hit really deep into a corner and then angle it off. And actually, this one just shows that she hasn't been able to do that too often.
Majoli's drive is much more penetrating than Hingis is today. Oh, what a waste.
Maybe she saw that Hingis had anticipated that way, so she went for a little bit more.
Oh, it's glorious. Doesn't miss too many overheads.
45.
Even when she's looking straight into the sun, as at this time of day from the far end you are.
That's very good.
40-30.
Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley on the right there with the rose in her buttonhole.
That was Francoise Dua under the hat there. It's 30 years since she won.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Hingis.
I bet Hingis was glad to get that error. She's just played two fairly bad points herself.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Hingis. Mademoiselle Hingis mène 2-1.
One feels, Virginia, that Majoli is playing at full throttle, as it were, and has to maintain that level of intensity somehow. Hingis still struggling really to find her true form.
That's so well put, John, because I think that Majoli, who I've really enjoyed watching over the years, has always been a streaky player. And when she's timing the ball and she's relaxed, she is hitting it so fiercely, so hard, that it's very hard to stay with her. Unfortunately, she can sometimes go into little patches, and I think that's why her ranking has slipped to number 9, having got her as high as number 4 last year when she did very well at the beginning of the year. But the thing is that where else can she go except hit harder? Whereas we know that Hingis has things like drop shots and volleys and angles and all the rest of it. But Hingis is really not there yet today.
And she said the other day, towards the end against Celis, that she was actually shaking out there on the court with the emotion of it all, and prepared to admit that she was nervous. And she certainly looked it towards the end there, but determined.
I think, believe it or not, Hingis has a lot of mixed feelings going on here. I think everybody thinks she's Little Miss Cool, having won so many matches this year, but I think it's quite an awesome venture, this, going for her first French championship.
S'il vous plaît. Un peu de silence. Merci.
Majoli been serving well and winning a lot of serves, points when she gets her first serving.
Premier service.
Now there was vintage Hingis from a very good
Yeah,
deep
yeah.
drive. She takes it almost as a half volley and drills it into the far corner.
But actually, she, she hasn't even come close to breaking I.majoli's serve so far.
15.
She took only 7 points from 5 service games of I.majoli's in the first set. So far 2 in this.
There was a slight variation from Hingis, throwing out some looped balls, hitting it a little bit softer, and it might be an idea to take away the sting of some of I.majoli's shots. Some terrific shots from Hingis, but that forehand she just hit, she hadn't been able to do anything with it, and then she was getting a little bit tired by the end of this rally and wanted to try and finish the point off.
Jeu. Mademoiselle I.majoli. 2 jeux partout.
So I.majoli survives again, more narrowly that time, and she hasn't yet faced a break point on her serve. 2 games all, and the crowd beginning to wonder if we're going to witness rather a real upset today.
Prenez place, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
A bit early to speculate about that.
Oui. S'il vous plaît, asseyez-vous. Merci.
Asking someone in the crowd just to sit down.
She looks a little wilted to me today.
4 double faults. Not a good sign.
Did it touch this outside of the line? I think so.
0-30.
Yes, it did.
15-40.
So here is a really desperate situation for the world champion, world number one rather. Break points against her,
S'il vous plaît, un peu de
having
silence,
lost the
merci.
opening set. So one is bravely saved, going for broke on her own drives.
Mademoiselle M.hingis. Mademoiselle M.hingis mène 3-2.
Well, now we are entitled to speculate about what would be a staggering upset if the number 9 player could beat the number 1 in the final of the French Open.
Well, if the last couple of games are any indication of how the rest is going to continue, I can't see Martina finding a way out of this. She's looking lethargic, she's looking a little tired. We've given plenty of reasons why she should be. I think she's actually just disappeared off the court, so maybe if there is ever a wise moment to do it, this would be it. But I don't know whether she can find any.
And we'll see her returned.
But not more than once in a set. More relaxed than she was against Kutzer, and that's why she's being able to generate a little more pace. The other day in her semi-final, she was just a little bit tight. Needless to say, it was a very nervous type of match to play against Amanda Kutzer, who chases absolutely everything down. And because she was a little tight, she just wasn't getting the same effect out of the ball.
But there's been absolutely no question to final. She's done well in Grand Slams. 14, her 14th rather, this one is. Quarter-finalist twice here in 95 and 96, and last year in Australia, where Celeste beat her on the way to the title when she made her return. I think a lot of the crowd here won't understand that a player is allowed to leave the court.
I mean, it happens very often now that, especially if somebody's having a little bit of a problem with their game, they disappear, and you have to be able to retain your concentration and stay warm and stay loose.
And I.majoli has already come out ready to serve and is saying really to the umpire, now come on, where's my opponent? He's only allowed a quick break, either for a natural break or for changing a shirt. And where is she? Where is she? And one has, you can see what they come up, that Martina is indeed on her way back, being shepherded by the officials there. Now, will she get a boo? Will she get the bird? Or will she get applause?
She might even get a time violation.
Well, there was a sharp word there from Georgina.
Martina Hingis has not looked absolutely overflowing in energy today.
Changed her racket. And on previous occasions when she's been losing, she can show her petulance, throw the racket and so on. Well, I'm quite sure if Hingis can turn this match round and win, M.hingis will have something to say about that overlong gap. I would if I was her. Well played.
the players are allowed to take one, so I think it's something that you have to expect, you have to anticipate it, and therefore you have to be able to think your way through it. It's happened plenty of times in crisis situations.
Oh, yes, but it's the length it took.
It was long. I wish I'd timed it. Oh, whoa, she tossed her racket that time.
So there is the warning that we thought might be coming for throwing her racket down. We've been told that the gap was about 4 minutes, just over in fact.
That's
well played.
Great tennis from I.majoli.
And if she goes on like this, we're about to greet a sensational new champion, because she is playing quite superbly.
She is dominating, and strangely enough, it's she who's in at the net, not Hingis, who prefers to be there.
That's brilliant.
Jeu. Mademoiselle M.hingis, balle neuve. Changement de balle, s'il vous plaît, ramasseur. Mademoiselle M.hingis mène 4 jeux à 2.
And I can't help thinking that that was poetic justice. Being kept on court for over 4 minutes while Hingis went off to do whatever she did. It was too long.
And just absolutely superb tennis from I.majoli, and Hingis being left totally flat-footed without any answers at the moment.
Well, if she can come out of this match, she'll be quite a player. At the moment, there is only one player in it, and a very good one too. It's a new experience in her young life, this. Forced error again. And the presidential box there, stunned.
Mademoiselle M.hingis. Mademoiselle M.hingis mène 5 jeux à 2.
2 breaks she leads by, and playing with terrific confidence and verve in a manner I haven't really seen her before on such a momentous occasion. And on comes the trainer for Hingis.
Mesdames et mesdemoiselles, messieurs, le médecin évalue une éventuelle blessure de Martina Hingis.
Well, she's trying all the legal things she's permitted here. And I think it must be, it looks as if it's something to do with one of the quads, is it?
Well, I think that ever since Hingis came back into this tournament, she has slightly favored her left knee. She hasn't been 100% fit, but it seemed that everything was under control. And I think it's just the incredible punishment she's getting from the shots of Majoli. Majoli's just making her
3 minutes
tear
d'interruption
all
commence
over the
maintenant.
court. So, I mean, I just would think that any injury here would be from overuse, from overextension in this match, and also from the fact that she very probably had a little bit of an aftermath from that long singles against Salas and a 2.5-hour doubles match yesterday. So I think she's just falling apart, basically.
So it looks like a quadriceps strain there. The trainer is treating, and we've heard the umpire announce that it's a 3-minute injury break. And it starts from the time the trainer has diagnosed if indeed any treatment is necessary. If it is necessary, then the 3 minutes starts at that moment. And all sorts of headgear on view today. A day when it's necessary to protect yourself from a very strong and warm sun. Well, this is a sensation in the making. The young lady who has been absolutely outstanding all year,
Encore 2 minutes.
undefeated
2 minutes remaining.
in 40 minutes, 2 minutes left in 40 matches. And I think we all expected, I think I did too, that she would probably overtake on this form the 45 matches which Graf put together in 1987.
Thinking of Steffi Graf, it was the 5-set match that these two, Steffi Graf and Martina Hingis, played in the final of the Chase Championships in New York, the end of the year event, which is the only event the women have which is 5 sets. And Martina Hingis could not handle that extremely long marathon match physically. They both were absolutely exhausted, but she was getting cramp and she had been running around so much. And today it's one of those very, very hot days. And if she had worn herself out a little bit in the previous 2 days, it isn't totally surprising that with Majoli's incredible driving shots today, she is feeling the effects
1 minute.
physically.
1 minute remaining.
And I think really up to this moment, the incredible thing was that Hingis had played such very good tennis in these championships without any match play at all from April. She'd played her last tournament at Hilton Head, and that was in March, and she'd intended to have a little break, but it was a much longer one than usual, than she'd anticipated, because she had to miss Hamburg, Rome and Berlin. And it meant that she was away until the start of this tournament. And
30
without
seconds.
match play,
30 seconds remaining.
it's very difficult to play the big points well, and she showed that against Pizzichini, who so very nearly served for the, or got to the point where she could have served for the match against her. Whether she would have won in those circumstances, one can only speculate, but she pushed her to the limits. And it sort of puts a little question mark about Wimbledon. How will she perform on the grass, and what effect would a loss here have on her? Well, and will she be fit for Wimbledon? Well, all that lies in the future. For the moment, it is I.majoli,
S'il
just
vous plaît,
waiting for the
un peu
trainer
de
to leave
silence.
the court,
Les joueuses sont prêtes. Merci.
serving for the title.
Oh, too bad. It was such a good
0-15.
serve.
Not a good drop shot.
15.
And an easy put away, but so well done by Majoli and the crowd giving her tremendous applause, and her family on the left. That's too good.
35.
So I.majoli, the number 9 seed, with 3 championship points against the world number 1. Sorry, 2 championship
S'il vous
points.
plaît. Les joueurs sont prêts, merci.
40-50.
Little dust blowing around.
Sorry.
That's it.
Jeu, 7 et match. Mademoiselle Mayoli, 2 manches à 0, 6-4, 6-2.
And even before going to the net to shake hands with her opponent, trying to shake hands or touch hands with her brother, Drago there, and her father and mum. And now absolutely overcome with the emotion of this first Grand Slam title, in to meet Martina, who at least embraces her there warmly and congratulates her.
Well, these two have been pretty good friends on the tour. They both are very sociable people, and I.majoli is just one of the warmest of all. I'm sure she cannot believe that she's actually achieved this.
Well, she told us that she would give it all she's got, and that she did today quite brilliantly. Out-hit, outplayed the world number 1, whose streak of 40 matches has come to an end. And she becomes, Majoli, the lowest seeded player to win a title here at the French Championships.
Total happiness. Yeah, I mean, I think I played the match of my life. It was, I don't know, I just played a great match. No mistakes. Everything worked well for me. I didn't get nervous. And I just played my game, you know.
Do you realize that this is the central court of Roland Garros and a final of your first Grand Slam win, or is it maybe too early for that?
Well, it is. I mean, you know, I'm so excited. It's great to be here, you know. It was always my dream to play on this court, and now that I won, you know, it's like a dream come true. And yeah, I didn't even know where I was playing. I was so concentrated on my match, you know. At the end, I just saw how many people it is here.
Well, Eva, it's just wonderful for you. We're extremely pleased for you. Just a word on Martina, maybe. A word for Martina.
Well, Martina is a great athlete, and she deserves to be the best. I mean, she's really, at this young age, she's taking everything so good, all the pressure and everything. And, you know, she can have one bad match. You know, I think she didn't play the best tennis. She was a little bit injured, you know. And this happens too. So, you know, on one hand, I feel sorry that it had to happen today. But I'm happy for myself, you know, that I could win this match.
It's wonderful to hear that. Thank you very much. We're very pleased for you. Merci à vous.
And what a gracious thing from the new champion. The lowest seeded player to win here.
Hören wir mal Martina zu.
Sie hat heute cleverer gespielt. Ich habe sie nie besser gesehen und ich gratuliere ihr.
Der Matchball. Martina Hingis hat sich nicht so gut, so leicht bewegt wie sonst, stand dadurch oft auch nicht optimal zum Ball. Aber, ich wollte das eben sagen, I.majoli hat das Match ihres Lebens gespielt. Den Eindruck hatten wir auch. Und sie war nie nervös, wo ihr doch die Nerven so oft schon einen Streich gespielt haben. Aber auf dem Höhepunkt ihrer Karriere, da macht sie alles richtig und darf jetzt, auch das sicher ein besonderer Moment, aus der Hand von Chris Evert die Trophäe in Empfang nehmen. Daneben Christian Biem, der Präsident des französischen Tennisverbandes.
I.majoli. Finaliste M.hingis.
Das Tennis-Wunderkind. Fand aber prima, wie sie die für sie enttäuschende Niederlage weggesteckt hat. Lächelnd gratulierte und auch was sie sagte, war prima. Kein Wort über irgendwelche Verletzungen und Ausreden, sondern sportliche Anerkennung für die Siegerin I.majoli. Und auf diesem Pokal stehen schon viele Namen, übrigens auch die von deutschen Spielerinnen. Silly Ausum 1931, Hilde Sperling von 35 bis 37 und 5-mal Steffi Graf. Es gab übrigens dazu noch 2-mal deutsche Finalistinnen. Sylvia Hanecker 1981 verlor gegen Hanna Mandlikova, die auch hier ist, und Helga Niesen verlor 1970, heute heißt sie Mastov, gegen Margaret Court. Das ist Vergangenheit und das ist die Gegenwart der überglücklichen und sehr sympathischen I.majoli aus Zagreb in Kroatien. 4 Jahre Bollettieri-Schülerin, vom Vater Stanko und vom Bruder Drago gecoacht. Zwischendurch war Goran Prpic ihr Trainer. Und nun wird sie zu uns sprechen.
Was soll ich überhaupt sagen? Zunächst meinen Dank an den französischen Tennisverband. 100 Jahre unterstützen Sie das Damentennis. Dank an Chris Evert, sie hat mir die Trophäe überreicht. Danke, Chris. Ich